Oh dear. Okay, it's all good. Essence Douglas, welcome. How are you doing today? Just to let you know, if you want to join the queue for a reading, you just ask a question, it gets you added. Welcome Rajni, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you again and welcome back. I'm doing pretty well, Essence, thank you for asking. Yeah, you know, life always has little things you could complain about, but I'm trying to focus on what's great and not on what could be better. Focusing on the harvest that I have. The food in the house, the garden that is ready. There are nice big marrows growing in the garden and loads of spinach. So yeah, focusing on the harvest that's here rather than on the plants that are still growing, rather than feeling crap about the plants that are not giving harvest. And when I'm talking about plants, I don't necessarily just mean actual physical plants that are growing in the veggie garden. I'm also meaning like the other seeds that I've planted. Metaphysical, symbolic seeds, you know, like this, the stream and my other online projects like the music and my art. Those are still growing, they haven't started reaping, they haven't started producing fruit yet, so yeah. You know that feeling when you get your paycheck and then the same day it's gone because of all your expenses? Yeah, that was what was getting me down. So I'm just trying to focus on what's good and what's plentiful in life. The Rajni asked us, what is Dr. Palak Gupta? What is she thinking about? Does she think about me? She thinks about me. It's a weird question, but I'll make sense of it. Tarot will make sense of it. Essence asking, will I get married again and have love? Nice. You guys are the first 2 readings of the day. I do this for 2 hours at a time, and in those 2 hours I can give away around about 16 readings, so after these 2 that will leave me with 14 free readings left to go. What is the frequency of Dr. Palak Gupta's thoughts of Rajni? Past interval, present, future, Your past is number 4 of the trumps, the Emperor. So basically this card is saying that she's seen you in the past, she has seen you exercising your authority. So in the last couple months of, basically the last time that you saw her, this is the image that you presented, this image of the divine masculine, of like strong, authoritative, harmonious energy, ruling your kingdom and setting routine and structure, really taking your life by the reins and choosing where you're going to lead it. Present interval is the Prince of Wands. So in her mind currently, when you do come up, which is not very often, when you do come up, she is seeing you, you're choosing to face your challenges, you're choosing to face the things that you have found to be insufferable. You're doing that because you know it's necessary in order to make the breakthroughs you're trying to make regarding the outcome that you're working for. Wands is all about desires and intentions. So you've got desires and you set intentions to reach those desires. So when you do come to her mind, she's like, yeah, Rajni is really focusing himself or herself. I can't really remember what your gender is, excuse me. Yeah, you're applying yourself even with the things that have that you've been distancing yourself from. So you've got certain aspects of reality that you need to overcome in order to see your desires realized. And in the past you've been like, no, I'm not going to face those things, it's too uncomfortable. But in the present, that's what you're busy with. Despite the suffering, you're facing your challenges head on. You're facing the things that the resistances, the things that you feel are in between you and your desire that you weren't comfortable facing before. You're facing them now despite how you feel about it. And yeah, it's a positive energy. Nice positive images she's seeing in you. Future interval is Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords reversed. So Queen energy is like, I have a desire, I'm gonna reach for it. If I want a car, here's an example. I want a car, so I'm gonna work my ass off and save for a car, and I'm gonna get that car. That's a Queen energy. But swords are specifically to do with purpose, not to do with physical things. The discs is to do with physical things. Wands is to do with intentions, as I was saying, and passions, and swords is to do with intuition and purpose. So with this card, this card is basically how you want to be perceived. It's talking to me about how you'd like her to perceive you, the image you're trying to project, and that could become a reality in the future. Basically, you would like it if this Dr. Palak Gupta could see you in the light of an intuitive individual, someone who is very connected with their spirit and their intuition, someone that has an understanding of what their purpose is. Or purpose isn't something that's given to you, it's something you choose. So you having an understanding of the purpose that you've chosen, which is born from your heart's desires. When you're applying your will to attain your heart's desires, that's when you're operating in purpose. So you'd like to be perceived as someone who's in touch with their intuition, who understands their purpose, someone who's connected with their spirit, and someone who's actually really reaching for what they want from life, actually making an effort to grab hold of it. However, this card is in reverse, so yeah, it's saying that that's not necessarily in your best interest. To try and project this image for her is not necessarily the right way to go. Yeah, it'll probably reduce the image. What she's seeing in you here, the strong masculine archetypes, what she's seeing you facing your challenges, these are things that are positive for her, but they are very platonic. I imagine you're asking, like, what is she thinking of me because you've got a crush on her and you'd like to date her. But all of these cards are from a platonic light, and trying to project this image of being an intuitive individual and someone who's connected to their purpose is not gonna change that. It's not gonna bring it out of the platonic stage, not gonna bring you out of the friend patient zone. The tarot is not actually giving any advice as how you can move forward with that. The only advice that this tarot spread is giving me here is that you continue to focus on facing your challenges, and you continue to operate according to the priorities of your schedule, and focus on yourself, focus on developing yourself, not on chasing other people or obsessing about your crushes. Yeah, And that concludes your reading. Thank you very much for joining us today. I've got a little note from Essence saying my volume is low, so what I'm gonna go and do quickly is just turn that knob up a little bit. Okay. 585, hello, good to see you back. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us again today. Next reading in my queue is for Essence, and it is Will I Be Married This Year? Or Again, and Have Love Again. And then I've got Manju on YouTube saying, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Focusing on the blessings of my life rather than on the negative aspects of it, because you know, if you look for negativity, you will find it. If you look for positivity, you will find it. So focusing on the blessings that I have and all the abundance that I have, rather than trying to look for lack and what I could still have. Love reading for Manju, so that's number 2. So I've now got 2 readings in the queue. Okay, we've also got a Richa Sina on YouTube saying, can I get a card for finances? So that's 3 in my queue. I've given away 1 reading today so far. And then I see there's a comment from Facebook, Bhakti Kurika. Hello sir, is my husband loyal to me? Will he date someone else in coming months? How will be my marriage life? Cool, so that's 4 readings in the queue for 115. Dr. Priya, good to see you again. Thank you for joining us. Reading for you, would you like a general reading, or do you have a specific question you want answered? Next up in my queue is Essence Douglas. So Dr. Priya, your reading is the 6th reading in the queue. There are 5 readings scheduled before you. Just to let you know, guys, if you join the stream and the queue is quite full and there's lots of readings ahead of you, you can secure yourself a reading by sending a donation. $5 donation will secure a reading for you. In fact, $2 donation will secure a reading for you. $5 will bump you to the top of the queue to get your reading next. Hey Mercy, welcome back. Nice to see you. So Dr. Priya, if you have a specific question, then please go ahead and ask that question, or otherwise you are not going to be added to the queue. Will Essence be married in the future, and will she find true love? So your past interval Essence is the Knight of Wands. This is a rebirth card. Knight is all about rebirth, of old things coming to an end and new beginnings opening up. Wands is about your intentions and your desires. So the way that you understood your desires fell away. What you wanted, you had to take a moment to re-examine it, to have a look at it and see, hey, is this actually what I want from life? And these intentions that I've been setting, are they actually healthy? Are they good intentions, or are they not? And then setting new intentions and choosing new desires for yourself based on that. But this is past interval, so this is what was going on for you in the last couple of months of 2021. Your rebirth has taken place. As you've moved into 2022, you are setting your new intentions towards what you've identified to be your true desire. And those desires and those intentions were specifically to do with your relationship, where you'd come from. Apparently you have been married in the past, so it was to do with your desires regarding that relationship. What did you actually want from that relationship? Why did you want to be in that relationship? And what were your intentions when you went into that marriage? Basically, we're re-examining all of that stuff, and choosing truer, more resonant desires and intentions as you move forward looking for a new relationship. In your present, we've got a Queen of Swords here. So Queen of Swords, it's like a desire for purpose, saying it's like a kind of strength that comes from desire. You identify what you want and then you start taking action towards it. That's purpose. And then Queen is like, okay, I want this, I'm gonna make it happen. Because I want it, I'm gonna make it happen. If the card is reversed, it is like a hopelessness, where the desire is too big to accomplish and it makes you feel hopeless. But it's the right way around. So basically what's going on is, in the present you're saying, hey, I want a healthy, loving relationship, so I'm going to make the changes that are necessary, and I'm going to align myself, and I'm going to follow my dreams and claim it for myself because it's what I want. Considering what advice you could get from that card, the only advice the Queen of Swords has is that you should focus on yourself and your purpose, rather than focusing on trying to make yourself a better person for a relationship. Make yourself a better person for you. That should be the goal, not the relationship. You should be the goal. Your relationship with yourself is most important. You've known yourself since you were born. You've known yourself since your past lives. You've known yourself longer than you've known any other being. And so the relationship that you have with yourself and your emotions and your body and your dreams is more important than any other relationship, and that you should be focusing on that relationship first. To try and make adjustments to yourself and your lifestyle for the sake of someone else or for the sake of a possible relationship, it's not going to work out. The things that motivate you towards that will burn out and wear away. You need to be inspired in order to fill yourself. You need to be inspired by yourself, by your heart's desire to take care of yourself first. And as you do that, people who resonate on that same frequency, who are caring for themselves and focusing on their relationship with themselves and between themselves, you will find those people are being attracted into your circles, and you're identifying them. And it is out of those people that a really healthy relationship will blossom. Future interval is the Five of Swords reversed. So this card is kind of like it's a little bit of information to let you know what is necessary for you to move into the future that you're trying to create for yourself. 5 is about applying yourself. So you have certain amounts of knowledge and experiences. You have resources at your disposal, technology and finances. So Swords is to do with purpose, as we discussed with the Queen of Swords, and also to do with intuition. So basically this card is saying that you should, as you're moving forward, you should be working on your purpose and applying your resources and your knowledge towards making that purpose realized for yourself, to really apply everything that you know and everything that you have to its maximum potential with regards to the purpose that you've set. So purpose is when you identify what your heart desires, what your heart truly desires. What do you want to do here? What makes life worth living for you? That's the question to seek in your heart. And then when you start taking action and applying yourself to make that desire real for yourself, that's when you're existing within purpose. That is purpose. When will follows desire, together they form purpose. So applying all of your knowledge, experience and resources towards making your purpose real in your reality, in your present. The card is reversed, so it's saying that you must be aware that you have limits on your knowledge, you have limits on your experience. The amount of education you have, the amount of experience you have might not necessarily be enough in order to make the dream that you see realized. So just be mindful not to overreach. Work with what you have. Reach as far as your technology and your resources and your knowledge can take you, because as you take one step after another and put one foot in front of the other, you learn more, you experience more, and you get access to new resources. So as you move forward, you'll be able to reach a little bit further each time. Try not to overreach, because overreaching leads to things like disappointment, frustration, and hopelessness. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining. If you felt like you got some value from the spread, I'd encourage you to send some value in return in the form of a donation. Much appreciated. You can also like and share and follow me. All of that is invaluable. No, Rika, that was for Essence on Facebook. Your reading is up. It's on the queue. Let's see who's next. We've got a Manju on YouTube up next, and after a Manju, okay, Manju, it's not a Manju. And then, yeah, after Manju is Rika. So Manju, you're next. Thank you for your patience and sticking around. Dr. Priya, thank you very much for your question. You have been added to the queue. So after Rika, we have Bhakti on Facebook, and then after Bhakti we have Dr. Priya. So that's Manju, Rika, Bhakti, Priya. 4 readings. After Priya we have no other questions. I see Monica Rathor has joined us. I'm doing pretty well, thank you, Monica. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for viewing the stream again and supporting me. If you would like a reading, please ask a question. So no, you're saying you're third in the queue. I'm afraid not. You will form, if you ask a question now, you'll be 5th in the queue. I've given away 2 readings today, moving on to the 3rd one. 585, I just want to remind you that if you'd like a reading today, you've got to ask a question to get into the queue. Manju is requesting a love reading. Cool. General love reading for Manju. Monica's asking, when will I get a government job? Wild card for you, Manju. This one just fell out of the deck, so I don't take any coincidence lightly. Coincidence is a lie. It is the 7 of Discs, and what the 7 of Discs has to say is that as long as there are endless possibilities in front of you regarding your financial future, so Discs is specifically about health, fitness, and finances. It's saying you've got all of these visions of where you'd like to be with your fitness, your health, and your finances, and you see all of these many roads into the future that can take you there, but as long as there's this endless possibility, none of it is manifesting. The card is encouraging you to choose a vision, to choose an outcome, and choose a pathway to get there and start working on it, and then stick to that road. Don't turn around and go back and choose another road. Basically, that's what your wild card has to say. I know it's unrelated to your question, but here we go. We're going to read for your question now. General overview regarding the past, present, and future love life of Manju. Past, present, and future. Okay, so your past interval is the 6 of Swords. This is telling me that your last relationship, it was an evolution. It was like a psychological evolution. Swords is to do with intuition, thoughts, and purpose. 6 is the number of evolving as a result of relationships. So basically, number 5 is about applying yourself and your resources to their maximum potential, to their limits. And then when you reach that point, you interact with other people who are doing the same, who are applying themselves to their limits, applying their resources and their knowledge. So that's what was happening with you. You were applying yourself, you had an idea of where you were going, and you were reaching for it. And then you got into a relationship with someone who had a similar understanding of what their direction was and how they were getting there, doing the best that they could, and you were doing the best that you could. And so through that interaction, you gave him little pieces of the puzzle, or he or she, you gave him little bits of information and access to new resources, which helped him overcome previous limits and evolve further into his purpose, caused him to go through a quantum leap in his thought processing, or the way he understood the world and life and purpose and intuition and magic. All of these things shifted and changed because of your influence, and the same thing happened to you. Your thought processing, your ability to interact with your intuition, and your understanding of your purpose evolved and shifted because of his perspective and his influence. And through this evolution of the mind, you both were able to transcend beyond the limits that you had previously, able to reach further than before regarding your purpose and where you were going. In the present, we have a Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is telling me that there's a bit of hopelessness in your present. You have this desire of what you want. You feel like your purpose is very much within relationship and love, like your purpose is to love and be loved, and that's true for most of us. It's true for all of us, actually. Our purpose is a little bit bigger than that, but at the core of each human being, what we really want and need is to love and be loved. So you can see that in yourself, and that's what you're trying to manifest in the present, or that's what your mind is focused on. Not necessarily trying to manifest. If it was a Queen of Wands, I'd say, yeah, you're trying to manifest it. But Queen of Swords means that your mind is focused on that in the present. Your mind is focused on this fact that you want to be in a healthy relationship where you can love and receive love in return. However, that kind of dream seems hopeless, like, hey, does true love even exist? Your past experiences of falling in love and then having your heart broken have left you in this state of being where it's like you're looking at the idea of love and you're like, does it even exist? Is it even a reality that I can have for myself? And so the only advice that this card has for you is that you need to turn that around, that you need to recognize that it is in fact your purpose. It is in fact the purpose of mankind to love and be loved. And so these feelings of hopelessness are lies. Those thoughts that are coming in are lies, and these are coming up because of the overthinking of the pain that you've been in. Stop focusing on the pain, start focusing on the blessings, start focusing on how much you evolved. Like this past interval card was talking about how much you evolved and grew and learned through your last relationship. So focus on that. Focus on the opportunities you had to express affection and how you learned better ways, healthier ways to express affection, letting go of things like attachment and codependency. Focus on that rather than focusing on the pain of the heartbreak. Realize that each failed relationship you've been through is a lesson that makes you more aligned, and it teaches you who you need to become. It turns you into who you need to become in order to match with your twin flame or your soulmate or whatever. I don't know what those words mean. I'm just using them as gimmicks. Your ideal partner, your life partner, the person you're supposed to be with. Each relationship that you come through, you are getting closer to who you need to be in order to match that person, in order to vibrate on the same frequency with them. And that is present interval. Future interval is the 10 of discs. So 10 of discs, it seems a little bit unrelated to love. 10 is about completion and fulfillment, and discs is about physical reality, that's health, fitness, and finances. So basically this card is saying that you're about to step into a place where you're reaping the harvest of your investments, of your physical investments, of your physical time, your physical resources, your routine, exercising, dieting, investments like financial investments. All of these things are going to come full circle and you're going to receive your returns on them. That's what's about to open up for you, and the card wants to encourage you to focus on that as you move forward, taking your focus away from love. Stop chasing it. Focus on yourself. Focus on building your security. Focus on building your health. Focus on building your intuition. Focus on manifesting your dreams and your purpose. And as you're doing that, and as you're working on yourself, you're going to attract other people who are vibrating on that same frequency. And among those people is where you're going to find the relationship you've been looking for. The minute that you stop chasing it is when you're suddenly going to see it's actually manifesting into your present naturally. And those kinds of relationships that manifest naturally out of the people you've been attracting because of your focus on your own dreams, those are the kind of relationships that actually last and have a lot of substance. So that concludes your reading. Thank you for joining me today. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like this video. If you're by the means, also please feel free to send a donation. If you're choosing, entirely optional, but would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. And to let you guys know, I also offer private readings and other private occult services. I can do mediumships and I can divine with various other tools. I don't even need the tarot, to be honest, at this point. Numerology, scrying with mirrors, like black mirror scrying, black order scrying, dice, and manifestation spells. Oh, the list goes on. You're most welcome, Manju. I'm sure that I'll be seeing you again. So if I recall correctly, after Manju was Rikasina or Richasina on YouTube, asking for a card for finances, reading on finances. And then since then, since I started the last reading, I see we've had a bunch of people join the chat, bunch of viewers. And so we've got Chandrai who says, add me to list. We can't type in YouTube. That's very strange. It seems to me that everyone else is having no problem typing on YouTube. But anyway, typing on Facebook works, typing on Twitch. I can see all of your messages across all the platforms. You can see them here as well. You can see there's little icons next to the stuff, like there's a YouTube, there's a Facebook. I can see all of those things. So Chandrai, to get into the list, please ask your question. You wanted to ask too, please do so. Please don't hesitate to ask. Please just go straight ahead and ask your question. And until you do that, you're not on the queue. If you'd like general reading, just say general reading, please. Welcome Uzma on YouTube. Katri on Facebook. When will I get a government job? It seems everybody's obsessed with getting a government job. It seems the strangest thing. Why does everybody want to work for the tyrants? Governments are absolute tyrants. They're just gangs. Just organized gangs. 585. Asking, can I have a reading too, by the way? Like I was saying earlier, 585, if you want a reading, you got to ask a question to get onto the queue. I answer the questions as they appear in the chat, so if there's no question with your comments, then you're not added to the queue, and I go on to the next person who did ask a question. As soon as I see your question, you're in the queue. Yeah, so please go ahead and ask that question to get into the queue. And then Jano on YouTube. Hello, can I get on the list? Yes, please. Jano, ask a question to get on the queue. Rabia Z, ask a question to get on the queue. Welcome, by the way. Please, guys, ask your questions if you want to be in the queue. Okay, so Rabia says, I haven't been in contact with my friend. Is he okay? Will I get in contact with him? Awesome. You're in the queue. Thank you. Katri says, sir, my question. When will I get a government job? Hey, please have patience. There's a queue. There are a lot of people asking for readings, and people get, it's like first come, first serve. The first one to ask a question, first one to get a reading, etc. Chandrai asking, how far is my name? You haven't asked me a question, so your name isn't on the queue yet, Chandrai. If you don't ask a question, your name's not going to get on the queue. Shital Gopani, welcome. Wild Halfling 22, hello. Welcome. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining the stream and supporting me with a view. If you would like a reading, please ask a question to get on the queue. Jano says, will Elise like to stay in touch on the phone? I care about her and don't want to lose touch. Awesome. Deep Tea, hello and welcome back. Thank you for your everlasting support. Job of my future spouse and his character. Awesome, you're in the queue. And Rika, you're up next. And your question was? Card for finances. Awesome. How can Rika secure himself or herself financially, and what other advice does the universe have regarding financial security? Okay, so your past interval is the Ten of Cups reversed. And the Ten of Cups reversed, it tells me about very difficult emotional experiences. So suppressed pain, suppressed heartbreak, suppressed fear, suppressed shame, these things coming up into their fullness. Now, it's in the position of the past, so it's saying that this is somewhere that you've come from. In relation to your question, the suppression of the emotions was so that you could cope with your work and your career, whatever it is that you do to secure yourself financially throughout 2021. Whenever you experienced pain or heartbreak or all the things that were happening in your life that would bring negative emotions, you would suppress them so that you could stay focused and stay diligent with your work. However, then towards the end of 2021, all of these things really came up into their fullness and they couldn't be suppressed anymore. All the side effects were too much to cope with, and all those feelings, all those fears, shames and pains, resentments, they all really came into the surface, evolved into their fullness and expressed themselves. When this kind of card happens for me, when I see the 10 of Cups, I recognize it as that moment where I was literally cowering under the table, sobbing and crying out to the universe and to God to literally redeem me from all that pain. So the card is saying that that wasn't healthy for your finances or your career. The suppression of it, though it looked like it was what was necessary in order to stay focused on your work, it was actually detrimental, because as you suppress negative emotions and feelings, nasty side effects start to come up. Like if you're suppressing heartbreak, you just live in a constant state of depression. Though you don't feel the pain in your heart, you're just like in this constant low vibe. And there are side effects to suppressing all the different kinds of emotions, even positive emotions. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. Though it seemed intuitive to suppress those feelings in order to stay focused, it was actually counterintuitive, as it was bringing other nasty side effects. And then when it did show up in its fullness, it was quite a sabotage to your work and what you were doing at that time. So what the card wants to say is that when you feel when something happens in your life that brings about these negative experiences and negative emotions, to allow them to express themselves in that moment. So not waiting for them to forcefully evolve and express themselves, rather allowing them, choosing to allow them to evolve and express themselves in the moment, and channel it into creativity. Write down an essay or a poem, compose a song, draw an art piece in that moment, express those feelings in the moment that they appear. That is a healthier way to cope with negative emotions. In the present, I have number 5 of the Trumps view. It's called the Hierophant. And number 5 is all about applying yourself and your resources and your knowledge to their maximum potential. Basically, 5 is about embodying the teacher archetype, becoming the example, using everything you have at your disposal in order to make your dreams realized, in order to push through the blockages that you're seeing, in order to overcome resistances and challenges, being the example that you don't have, and looking around you and seeing the lesson that everyone you surround yourself with has to teach you, and how that can help you in your journey personally. Integrating all of that and basically leaving footprints for the younger generation to follow in, so that they're not walking around in the dark the way we are walking around in the dark. So basically how that card applies to you is it's saying that that's what you're doing in your present. You're asking about finances. It's saying that in the present, this is what you're doing. You're busy applying your resources and your knowledge to the best of your ability regarding your finances. You're being the example that you didn't have. You're being the example for others around you, and you're also looking at the people you surround yourself with and seeing the wisdom in the way that they handle their finances, looking at how they adjust their lifestyle in order to correspond with their income, not trying to live a lifestyle that is bigger than what they're earning, and learning from that example, making shifts in your present, acknowledging your limitations, saying, hey, I don't earn enough to afford this luxury that I have previously been able to afford. It's time to let go of it. That kind of thing. Acknowledging limitations and doing the best that you can despite them with the resources that you have. And that's what you're doing in the present. The only advice that card has for you, apart from that, is to stay consistent with it. and to not overreach, to not try and reach further than what your resources can take you. So you're trying to create a certain state of financial security, and you're using your knowledge, your experiences, and your resources to that extent. You're applying it to create that security for yourself. Stay consistent. When you do this, when you reach for potential, and when you have the opportunity to reach for the abundance that you want to create for yourself, and you reach for it, it's like planting a seed, and then that seed sprouts and grows, and you know and you trust that that is a fruit tree that you planted. You know what kind of seed that was, you know what it's going to grow into, and you know that from the time that it's planted until the time that it's bearing fruit, you're not going to get anything from it, and you're going to have to consistently nourish it and water it and shield it from bad weather in order to make sure that it doesn't wither away and die. But while you're doing that, you know that it's not going to give anything back to you, and you have to continue to be consistent in the value that you give to it if you ever hope to reap harvest from it. So that's the kind of advice it wants to give you here, is that while you're applying your resources in the present, you're doing the best that you can. There are limitations, and you're trying not to reach further than those limitations, but you're also acknowledging that in this process of applying your resources, you're not going to get anything back from this thing that you're applying, from this, what can I call it? This sphere, this plant. There is no other metaphor for it except this plant. You have a plant, your dream is a plant that's growing, and you know it's gonna give you harvest, but in the present, don't be disheartened by the fact that it's not giving you anything. You know what you planted, you know what it's growing into. Have faith in that outcome. Future interval is the Three of Wands reversed. So this is what's opening up for you. It's saying that you, because of applying yourself to your maximum potential, as you move forward, you're going to come into a place of self-realization. 3 is a number of self-realization, and Wands is about desires and intentions. So because of everything that you have been through and what you are going through, it opens this door into the future. And as you step into it, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to become aware of your own negative intentions, the intentions you've set in the past that were not healthy for you or others, because every intention you sow, again, is like a seed, and it grows and it reaps harvest. So if you sow negative intention, that tree is going to be a poisonous bush, and what you're going to reap from it is going to be poison. So becoming aware of your negative intentions that have been set in the past, so that you can manage the growth of those seeds. Becoming aware of your desires, becoming aware of what you want and why you want it, so that the card is reversed. It's not so that anything, it's so that, shit, my train of thought is gone. Becoming aware of what is necessary within yourself in order to see your desires realized. That is the thought of train that's the thought train that I was on. Becoming aware of negative intentions that have been set in the past, becoming aware of what it is you want, so that you know what's required in order to see that realized. Who you have to become, and what's necessary, what you actually have to do in order to see it realized. That's what's about to open up for you, that period of becoming aware, that enlightenment regarding your own intentions and your own desires, and what's necessary to see those desires become true for yourself. And that concludes your reading, so thank you very much for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and if you're by the means, please send a donation. It would be much appreciated. Up next in the queue after Rika is Bhakti. Bhakti Kudakar on Facebook. So Bhakti, if you're still here, please let me know. I haven't seen a message from you since you left your question in the chat. And after Bhakti is Dr. Priya. So Bhakti, Priya, Monica, Katri, Uzma, and then Rabia Z. Rika, if you want success, that's 100% up to you. What your future card is saying is that you're about to become aware of who you need to be and what is necessary, what you have to do in order to see success. And then it's up to you whether you're going to make those changes within yourself and do what's necessary. My volume is too low. I keep putting it higher and higher and it seems to stay too low. It doesn't make any sense. Can you guys not like increase the volume on your cell phones or your PC? Welcome to the stream, Joanna Marie. Welcome to the stream, Rara. Thank you for letting me know that you're still here, Bhakti. Confirming that everybody who has asked a question is in the queue, and everybody who has not asked a question is not in the queue. The queue is at 7 readings. There are 7 readings in the queue. I don't know how long I've been online, but the reason I'm bringing up the number of people in the queue and requests in the queue is, if you guys want to be bumped to the top of the queue, it's a $5 donation. If you want to ensure that you get a reading before the stream ends, to make sure that I don't close the stream without getting to your reading, that's a $2 donation. Just letting you guys know. You can find my links if you're on Twitch. You can find it in my social links. My PayPal is in the social links. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can find the links in the description. Rika, you are most welcome, and wealth and prosperity, blessings of wealth and prosperity to you. Okay, so Bhakti's question was, is my husband loyal to me? Will he date someone else in coming months? How will be my marriage life? Welcome to the chat, Stargazer. It's good to see you and welcome back. To join the queue, you ask a question. Just letting you know. There are 7 readings in the queue so far. If you would like to be bumped to the top of the queue, that's a $5 donation. If you just want to make sure that you get a reading before the stream ends, that's a $2 donation. Chandrai, thank you so much for your question. You are in the queue at last. Is Bhakti's husband loyal? And what does Bhakti need to be aware of moving forward into married life? Okay. Deepti, you have not missed your turn, don't stress. So, Bhakti, your first card is the Two of Discs reversed. What this card is saying to me is that in the past, so your question is a little bit confusing to me, but what this card is saying is that in the past, there has been dissatisfaction in the marriage from his end, from your husband's end, particularly regarding sexual gratification. Yeah, there was opportunity. You were presented with the opportunity to secure your marriage and make sure your husband was loyal to you, and to leave him satisfied as he leaves you satisfied. And you didn't follow through with that opportunity. It's like reality was reaching a point where it was splitting. There was either the reality where he was yours and you was alone, or there was the reality where he started looking for satisfaction outside of the relationship, and you were presented with the opportunity to make sure it was aligned with loyalty, and you let that opportunity slide, and so reality split, and it went in the direction you didn't want it to go. Yeah, 2 is about potential and opportunity, being presented with potential and opportunity, and discs is to do with the physical universe, physical pleasure, physical satisfaction, physical fitness, physical security, and the card is reversed, so it indicates that potential and that opportunity was given to you and you didn't claim it, you didn't take a hold of it and make the best of it. Present interval is number 5 of the trumps, reversed. So this card speaks to me that both of you within this relationship are following bad examples. You're looking up to people who are not healthy archetypes. Yeah, basically your role model and his role models, be they people in your lives, be they archetypes from television and media, the people that you are looking up to and idolizing are not healthy character. They are not of healthy character, and this is detrimental to your relationship from both ends. More than that, this card is saying that you're taking their influence and you're trying to make the best of your relationship with that, but it's not necessarily working out the way you wanted to, because, like I was saying, the archetypes that you're idolizing are not healthy ones. The characters that you're putting on a pedestal and saying, hey, that's what I want to be like, that character is not healthy. So you're doing the best that you can based on the knowledge and the teachings that are coming from these unhealthy characters, and it's not working out. It's not working for you in your relationship. It's not working for you from either end. He's got bad influences, you've got bad influences, and you're trying to make your marriage work based on bad influences, and it's not working out. And the card wants to say to you that there are limits on what you know and what you have experienced in life for both of you, and that's why you have these unhealthy archetypes as role models. It's because of the limits in your knowledge and the limits in your experience. It leaves you unable to discern the difference between what is good character and what is not good character. I don't want to discourage you with these words. The card is here to make you aware of what's going on, so that you can start making changes, so that you can start developing discernment, so that you can start trying to identify what aspects of your role models are not healthy, and then you can start choosing role models based on character traits that you understand are healthy. Looking at people, looking first within yourself and saying, okay, what aspects of myself have benefited my life and have benefited my relationship? What have I done well in my life? And what have I done in my life that has sabotaged me, that has been negative, that has negatively impacted my life and my relationships? And when you can see those things within yourself, then you can understand them when you see them in someone else, and you'll be able to discern between positive and negative teachings. When people speak projections, you'll be able to say, hey, I have experienced in my life that has negative influence on my relationships and my environment. So I'm going to discard that information. I'm not going to take it in or apply it because I know what it will do. It will have a nasty influence. And then when people say things that are truly wise, that will truly bring prosperity and abundance to your life, they'll say, hey, that resonates because I've done a similar thing in the past and saw positive results. Every moment that you live and every time that you take another step on the path that you're walking, you learn more and you experience more, and your discerning capacity increases. So this card, I don't want it to discourage you. It's saying that you have negative influences and your role models have been toxic. I don't want that to discourage you. I just want you to become aware of that fact so that you can start self-reflecting and looking at yourself and your life and start to identify where you personally have acted in a way that was beneficial to yourself and the people around you, and where you personally have acted in a way that was negative to yourself and the people around you. And by doing that, developing discernment, when you hear other people project their opinions or give their advice, you'll be able to discern what is healthy advice and what is not healthy advice. And when people lead by example, and when people set examples, you'll be able to tell if that's a positive example or a negative example. Future interval is the 9 of discs reversed. This card is about self-reflection, and discs is about, again, physical reality, physical fitness, physical health, physical satisfaction, etc. So this card in your future position is saying that what's opening up for you and where you're about to step, what you should choose, what you should do as you step forward is self-reflection. Just like I was giving advice based on this present interval card, saying I don't want it to discourage you, what I want it to do, what I want it to encourage is for you to self-reflect. Well, your future card is saying exactly the same thing. It's saying what you should do going forward, what you should, because like we only know the present. The plan that you should set now for yourself and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, is to self-reflect. Take a moment to isolate yourself. Don't concern yourself with your husband. Don't concern yourself with family. Concern yourself with you and your journey and where you've been until this point. Taking a moment to isolate yourself spiritually and mentally and emotionally so that you can observe your own shadows. When people say or do things that trigger a negative emotional response in you, you can observe that and understand why does it trigger this response, what is that trigger rooted in, and then integrate that, choosing, instead of reacting to the emotion, choosing to act in alignment with purpose. This is specifically to do with your physical environment, so that's self-reflecting on where you've used things like physical comfort, physical satisfaction, that's food, physical nourishment, that's sex, where you've used these things as bargaining tools, on where that has affected your reality and your relationships negatively. When you've said, oh, I'm not going to cook tonight because you've upset me, or oh, you're not getting sex tonight because you've upset me. Identifying where you've done things like that have had a very negative impact on your life and your relationship, reflecting on those things, and then also reflecting on where you have done well in your physical environment, reflecting, saying, hey, when have I really poured out physical nourishment and physical satisfaction from the love that exists in my heart? When I've loved my partner or my family so much that I've said, hey, I want to cook dinner for them, I want to make a gift, I want to bless them with some money, or I want to go to my parents' house and make dinner for them, take them dinner. When you've done these kinds of things out of the goodness of your heart, because those kind of things create they bring a family closer together, they solidify a relationship, and they're healthy for a relationship. So this card wants to say to you, as you move forward, what you should be doing as you go into the future is reflecting on where you've used your ability to give physical satisfaction and physical nourishment as a tool, as a bargaining tool, because that's negative. Acknowledging where your bargaining tool has had a negative impact on your reality and your relationships, and then also identifying where that kind of motherly nurturing energy has been a positive influence on your reality and your relationships. And you do this self-reflection so that you don't repeat past mistakes, and then you can identify where it's been healthy and say, hey, that has worked well for me, so I'm going to apply it going forward. And the last thing this card wants to say to you is that once you've done that self-reflection, you will evolve into completion, and you will reap the rewards of all of these things that you've set in motion in the past. So when you have done things, when you have self-sabotaged and you've used your motherly influence in your relationships as a bargaining tool, and that's been unhealthy, you will reap the negative rewards of that. You will reap every intention you set is like a seed, and it grows into a plant. So when you've used your ability to nourish as a bargaining tool, that was sowing a toxic seed, so therefore you're going to have a poisonous result. When you've used it out of the goodness of your heart in order to bring the family closer together, that's a positive seed and will bring forth a bountiful, fruitful plant. So as soon as the self-reflection period is done, you're going to step into that place of completion where you're reaping the harvest of the seeds that you've planted, both the positive seeds and the negative seeds. Something to be aware of as you go forward. And that concludes your reading. So, is your husband faithful? He has not been faithful. He has not been loyal. Will he go and look for someone else to date in coming months? That will be up to you and how much you're willing to shift within the next coming months. How will your marriage life look? It will look the way you want it to look. Are you going to continue to withhold nourishment and withhold gratification, or are you going to use those things to bring family closer together and to build on relationships? Because depending on what you're going to choose, that will decide what your married life looks like. Selah. This reading was for Bhakti Kurika on Facebook. Chandrai, you are number 7 in the queue from here on. Welcome to the chat, Shayoban Kardi. It's good to have you back. To join the queue, please ask a question. If you would like to jump to the top of the queue, $5 donation. If you just want to make sure you get a reading before I close the stream, $2 donation. Welcome to the stream, Malak, and thank you for your question. It adds you to the queue. Just to let you know, you are now number 8 in the queue. I'm going to check for you now, Lily. Next in the queue is Priya Ratne on Facebook, 1. Monica on YouTube, 2. Katri on Facebook, 3. Uzma on YouTube, 4. Rabia Z on YouTube, 5. Lily, I don't see a question from you, to be honest. Jano, number 6. Deepti, number 7. Joanna, number 8. Rara, number 9. Chandrayi, number 10. So you're actually number 10 in the queue, Chandrayi, not 6. So yeah, it doesn't look like, if everybody stays in the queue, it doesn't look like you will get a reading without sending a donation. Lily, number 11. Malak, number 12. Shayoban, number 13. Number 10, Chandrayi, you are number 10. Which is way outside of the stream. I probably have time enough for another 6 readings. 6 or 7. Dr. Priya Ratne is up next. Yes, Lily, I think, did I say you were number 11 or number 12? I have to confirm this again every time that I check. But yeah, I think I only have time for another 7 readings. So everyone who is after number 7, you guys will have to either join me again on Friday or send a donation to secure a spot. $2 donation to make sure you get a reading. $5 donation to be bumped up to the next spot in the queue, to be next in line. Now I've got your question, Priya. My husband got job offer migration to Netherlands from same company from India, but on 3rd of January it got denied. Can you please see for it? Will it work, or any other offer for other country, or what exactly? Thank you. What is on the playing field for Dr. Priya Ratne's husband regarding his work and finances? Will this plan work out for Netherlands? Would you like me to reshuffle the deck and ask that question? Because as it currently stands, I'm asking for general clarification regarding his work and the future of his work. What's happening regarding his job and this travel. I wonder, when I do that, when I block someone and remove all their messages, does it go away from this box as well? I haven't checked that. Tony Allen, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Hey you, good morning. I got a question. Is my son gifted to see our loved ones who crossed over? He's 1 year old. He keeps covering his ears a lot and looking into space and laughing a lot. So Tony, I want to just let you know, thanks for your question by the way, but I want to let you know that our stream the queue is full. I've got more requests than I can keep up with within this next hour that I'm still going to be online. So at this point it doesn't look likely that I will get to your reading. If you would like to reach out to me privately and schedule a private reading, you're welcome to. Alternatively, you can bump yourself up in the queue to next in line by sending a $5 donation, or you can just secure yourself a spot at the end of the stream by sending a $2 donation. Good afternoon to Jacqueline Govender. I'm just going to go ahead and read your spread, Priya, as it stands. Your first card is the Nine of Cups reversed. So Nine of Cups reversed is to do with emotional reflection. It's looking at yourself and how you've responded to emotions, whether that's been positive or negative, and how it's impacted your environment and those around you. The card reversed implies that when you have identified negative responses to emotions, you have justified them. Instead of acknowledging them and learning from those mistakes, justified why it was okay for you to respond in that way. And this applies not only to you, but to your husband as well. So it's past influences. I feel like it's specifically talking about the denial of the visa, or when you went for the interview and the application for the visa, there was a moment where you responded to an emotional trigger that solidified the denial. And looking back on that, instead of learning from it, you guys have justified why it was okay for you to act that way. Present interval. 5 of Wands. Also reversed. So 5 is to do with applying yourself and your knowledge and your resources to their maximum potential. Wands is to do with intentions and desires. So these desires and these intentions are to go and work abroad. There's a desire to do that, to travel and go and find a more secure way of earning an income, earning money in a stronger currency, living a better lifestyle. That's a desire. And then there are intentions that are being set to make that happen. The card reverse is saying that it's an overreach. You guys do not have enough education or enough resources or enough experience in order to make that a reality. There are limits on what you have at your disposal to make those intentions manifest. So that desire of moving into the future, moving into another country, is something that you can make happen, but at this point in time, reaching for it is outside of your reach. It's reaching further than what your resources can carry you. It's reaching further than what your resources, your knowledge, your experiences, and your financial resources can carry you. As you take steps into the future, you overcome previous limits, you learn more things, you have new experiences, you get access to new resources, but at this present moment, there are not enough resources, not enough knowledge, not enough experience. This dream of moving outside of the country, you can make it happen, but it's something that's a little bit further away than what you're reaching for in your present. You're trying to make it happen sooner than it can happen, sooner than what your resources can make manifest for you. Future interval is the 10 of Wands reversed. So 10 of Wands is saying that what's opening up for you is reaping the harvest of the intentions that you've set. And the card being reversed implies that there have been a lot of negative intentions set. In the past, where we saw this 9 of Cups, negative intentions were set then. We do this when we want something that's outside of our reach. We start looking at selfish ways of making that happen, making it happen at the expense of other people. So the Ten of Wands is saying that that is going to come back around. You're going to reap the harvest of that. You're going to reap, like you sow negative intentions, you reap a negative harvest. And that's basically what's about to open up for you. You reach for your goals at the expense of others, others reach for their goals at the expense of you. And that's what's about to open up for you. You have desires that you're reaching for, and you've set intentions towards it, and not all of those intentions were healthy for you and for others. And so the rewards that you're going to reap are not going to be, not all of it is going to be healthy for you and others. This is a very disappointing spread. Very disappointing frequency. A lot of hopeless, frustrated currents. Deep frustrations, deep resentments, deep triggers. There is advice here. The present interval card. The Five of Wands is saying that in the present, apply your resources, adjust how far you're reaching. Look a little bit closer in the future. Say, hey, if we want to move outside of the country, what do we need to accomplish first? So it's like, imagine it like stepping stones. Here is where you want to be. Here is where you are. You can't jump from here to here. You need to jump from here to somewhere in the middle and then to there. So what that card is saying, use your resources to manifest more resources. Jump somewhere in between. Jump to the next stepping stone. Observe in your reality what you can accomplish, what resources you need to obtain, what knowledge you need to learn in order to bring yourself closer to this future where you're living in another country, and then reach for that. Once you're there, you can look again at jumping to moving outside of the country. It's saying, you're asking me, will this plan of Netherlands not going to work out? Not in the way that you're expecting it to. You need to look at something in between, jumping from where you are to somewhere that's a little bit closer to this dream of moving out of the country. And then with your future interval card, with this reaping of negative intentions, allow yourself to learn from that experience so that you don't repeat those mistakes. When you're faced with an impossible task, instead of turning to selfish methods, remember how that impacted you the last time it happened, and then choose instead to look for selfless course of action, a course of action that benefits you as well as those around you, rather than just you alone at the expense of others. The more advice that this card is giving is that when you reap harvest, whether it's a positive or a negative harvest, remember to sow new seeds, make new investments. If you stop at any point sowing seeds, you will stop reaping harvest. So let's say I planted a crop last year and I didn't look after it the way I was supposed to, so my harvest was poor, but at least I had a harvest. If I didn't sow those seeds at all, I wouldn't have had a harvest. So that card is saying, don't let any kind of negative returns discourage you from planting new seeds and making new investments. You have to consistently sow seeds into the present in order to ensure that you reap a consistent harvest. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much. I am sorry for, I have empathy for you, and I have sympathy for you, and I feel compassion for you in what you're going through and in the disappointment you're experiencing, and I understand the frustrations and the resentments that come with it. Wishing you much wealth and abundance as you move forward towards your objectives. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope that this spread has given you some clarity on what is necessary and where you need to go from here in order to see the dreams that you have for yourselves and your families become true in your reality. Next in my queue is Monica Rathor on YouTube. Monica, please confirm for me that you were still around and you were ready for your reading, because you're up next. Waiting for confirmation from Monica Rathor on YouTube. Okay, moving on. Katri Shivani on Facebook. Please confirm if you're still here, because your reading is up next. Katri Shivani on Facebook. Waiting for confirmation from Katri Shivani on Facebook. Amazing, thank you for your confirmation. Your question was, when will I get a government job? Cool. Welcome to the chat, Gaurav. Gaurav Sharma on YouTube. My queue is full. There are more requests than I'm going to be able to fulfill today. So if you would like to get a reading, please send a... So you have options here. You can send a $2 donation to ensure that you get a reading before I close the stream. Or you can send a $5 donation to be bumped to be next in line for a reading. Alternatively, you can find me again on Friday from the same time, 3 until 5, GMT plus 2, not sure what time zone you're in. Or you can schedule a private reading by sending me a DM on one of my platforms. All of the links are in the description, including my PayPal link. Donations can go straight to that link. Monica Rathor is back. Okay, well, I am busy with Katri Shivani, so Monica, you will be after Katri. You were before Katri, but now you will be after Katri. It's interesting because you both asked the same question. Katri and Monica asked the same question. Gaurav, I take according to a list. There is a list. How can Katri manifest a government job and secure her financial future this way if it be her desire? As I said, Gaurav, I will be online again on Friday at the same time. So you can see I've been online for 1 hour and 25 minutes. So whatever your time zone is, was 1 hour and 20 minutes ago is when I started. So on Friday at that time is where I'll go live. Jano, you are still in the queue. I haven't reached your reading yet. I don't know whereabouts you are. I'll have to confirm. But anyway, Katri, your first card is the Queen of Cups reversed. Queen energy is about reaching for what you want. The Queen is like, I have a desire, so I'm gonna make that desire become real for myself. It's like a strength. It's finding strength within the desire, acknowledging that the fact that you want it is what's necessary in order to make it real. Cups is specifically regarding your emotions. So this card is talking to me about, it's reversed, so it's saying you've been in a state of emotional despair, emotional turmoil. This is a past interval card, so it's talking about 2021, where you were in 2021, in a state of emotional despair and emotional turmoil, and you had a desire. You said, I want to be emotionally fulfilled, I want to be emotionally secure, and this looks like it's outside of my reach. I want it, and I want to make it real for myself, but I can't see how to do that. I can't see how to make myself emotionally secure. I can't see how to get out of this emotional suffering. And it's that sense of hopelessness just added to the despair and added to the turmoil. And so this idea of getting a government job, it was how you saw getting out of that emotional turmoil. It was, you were like, if I could just be in a government position, I would have insurance, I would have all of these benefits, and I would have a stable income. So that seemed to be the best way to get out of that emotional turmoil. In the present, I have number 19 of the trumps for you. It's called the Sun, and it is reversed. So what this card is saying is that you have the potential, in this present moment, you have the potential to be the source of emotional energy and physical security, the source of energy. Like the sun is the source of our solar system. Our planet receives its potential to give forth life and abundance from the light that radiates from the sun. So this card is saying you have the potential to be like that. You can be the source of energy that gives your environment its potential to bring forth abundance. You do not have to rely on a government job or a government position in order to be secure. Just by being yourself naturally and expressing your creativity, you can be the source that gives your environment its potential to bring forth security and financial prosperity. But in the present, you are focusing yourself on pushing energy out. You're giving energy from yourself to the people around you, into the environment. You're pouring out more energy than you have, and this is not beneficial to you. It's leaving you drained. It's draining your cup, so you're getting lower and lower on energy, and at some point you're going to have too little energy to give to the environment, and the environment's going to stop bringing forth its life-giving essence. It's going to stop bringing forth abundance. So the advice that card has for you is that that's not necessary. It's not necessary for you to be making all of this effort for everyone around you, like people are saying to you, you got to get a job, you got to secure yourself, etc. And so you're working extra hard in order to find their approval, and that's draining your cup. Instead of doing that, you should be just exist as yourself authentically. Express your creativity authentically. Allow your emotions to inspire your creative process. Now that doesn't have to look like art. That doesn't have to look like painting. It doesn't have to look like music. Whatever your dream is, when you come up with solutions and creative solutions and processes that can bring you closer to that, that is creativity. It doesn't have to look like a typical art form. Anything that you apply yourself to is your creative process. So existing within that authentically and naturally is how you give your environment its potential to bring forth the financial security you're looking for. And that, if you want to get that out of a government job, if that's truly what your heart desires, then you can manifest it by being yourself authentically. However, I don't feel like that is true. It was a solution that you saw when you were going through this period of emotional turmoil and hopelessness. It seemed to be the only solution. But now in the present, it's not necessarily what your heart truly desires. And so trying to dedicate all of your energy into manifesting that for yourself is draining your cup, because you're doing it in order to satisfy the people around you. You're not doing it to satisfy your heart's desire. Identifying what your heart's desire is, and then identifying how you can take action to reach for that desire, is how you exist authentically. future interval is number 17 of the trumps. It is called the star. So this is what's opening up for you. And the star is about learning to direct and channel emotions. So just like I was saying with number 19 in your presence, in your present, I was saying allow your emotional experience to inspire your creativity. So if that is drawing, so mote it be. If that is mowing lawn, so mote it be. I'm just throwing out examples now. Whatever it is that your heart desires, when you step out to accomplish it, you apply your creativity in order to do so. So allowing your emotional energies and your emotional currents to express themselves in your creative process, whatever it might be, is what you are stepping into, what you're about to be learning, what you're about to experience and learn from. So that is both positive and negative experiences. Learning to allow negative experiences to do nothing but push you forward into your purpose, rather than take you away from it and make you feel hopeless and make you start looking for temporary solutions to your problem. Rather allowing that turmoil to express itself in your creativity and push you towards your outcome. That being said for negative emotions, that being said also for positive emotions. Positive emotions are very powerful. Negative emotions are very powerful. In fact, emotions are the electricity that power our manifestations and our spells. That is literally the power. Like electricity runs a computer and other kinds of physical technology, emotions power metaphysical technologies. And that concludes your reading. So as you step forward into the future, learning to use your emotions to inspire your process is the key that unlocks the future you're trying to create for yourself. Be that a position in a government job, be that self-employment, whatever it might be, allowing your emotions to inspire that process and to inspire your creative solutions as you move towards it is your key. Thank you very much for joining. If you felt like you got some value from the spread, I will encourage you to send some value in return in the form of a donation. Would be much appreciated, but is entirely optional. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please like and follow and share this video. That way you'll get a notification when I go live again on Friday. So Monica, you're up next. If you have a question about your marriage, Katri, and you ask it now, it will not be answered unless you send a donation. The queue is full and my time is running out. Welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream, Dre. It's good to see you back. Thank you for joining us. Just letting you know my queue is full. So if you want to, you have some options. If you want to secure yourself a reading at the end of the stream before I go offline, you can send a $2 donation that will secure your spot. If you would like to be bumped up, if you want to be next, it's a $5 donation. You are most welcome, Katri. I'm sure that I'll be seeing you again and look forward to seeing how you've grown and what has changed in your reality since today. So Monica asked the same question as Katri. How can Monica secure herself financially within a government job, if that be her desire? I do feel like that last reading would have resonated for both of you, but it was specifically geared for Katri, so this one is specifically geared for Monica. Past interval is a Knight of Discs. Knight of Discs is a rebirth card. Discs being to do with physical environment, physical health, physical fitness, finances. When I see a Knight of Discs, it is usually talking about starting a new career path. So your question is about getting a government job. At some point you had to re-examine the way that you were securing yourself financially. You looked at it and you were like, hey, my income is not balancing with my expense. I need to come up with a new solution. And so that solution looked like a government job. And that was the rebirth that you went through, letting go of the old and starting to focus on manifesting this new source of income for yourself. Present interval, number 16 of the trumps. It's called the Tower. So the Tower is about becoming aware of your insecurities. And this card is the right way around. So it's implying to me that in the present moment, you're examining yourself and your identity and observing what aspect of yourself do you believe or have believed until now that are not true, because those are the things that are insecurities. Also looking at places where you've acted outside of alignment or outside of purpose and justified yourself, because those justifications are also insecurities. And you're doing this so that you can demolish that insecure tower, so that you can rebuild it. You can work the insecurities out and start founding your identity on things that are true, that you know to be true, things that are solid facts about yourself and what you're capable of. And this is very healthy, because if we don't regularly examine our identity and identify where we have self-justified or where we believe things about ourselves and our capabilities that are not true, if we don't do that, then the universe will do it for us. The universe will bring us an event or a relationship or something that forces us to acknowledge these things in ourselves. And that is usually a jarring and painful experience. It's a painful tower collapse. So doing it for ourselves, doing these self-reflective exercises where we identify them for ourselves and begin working them out on our own accord, it prevents that unnecessary pain. When we do encounter things that point out our insecurities or make us aware, we've already been aware, we've already accepted them, and we're already choosing to work them out of the system and replace them with solid truths regarding ourselves. So that's very healthy. Yeah, as the insecure tower is demolished, the spirit, the purpose can soar free. What you're trying to create for yourself, your purpose, can soar free. It becomes more likely to solidify itself into reality. If there are insecurities and you believe you're capable of something that you're not, then the future you're creating for yourself is based on lies and it's delusion in essence. You might think you're capable of that future, but then when you try and reach for it, you realize, oh shit, what I thought I was capable of is not actually true, and I'm not capable of creating that future for myself. So when you work out the insecurities, the purpose that you're creating soars free. It becomes more likely to solidify as truth and reality. Future interval is 10 of Cups. The card is called satiety. If it had to be worked down to one single word, it would be satiety. But it's a little bit more than that. It's to expand on that. It's about experiencing your emotions in their fullness, your positive emotions. So that's what's about to open up for you. So maybe that comes in the form of a government job. Maybe you get it and it inspires this joy and this relief, and it manifests into its fullness and you get to express it. Or maybe it comes in the form of some other kind of financial security. Maybe you identify a better way to secure yourself, and with that also comes relief and joy, and you allow yourself to express it. All in all, what this card is saying is that what you want to create for yourself, the security you're trying to create, like here we went through a rebirth because your expenses were not balancing with your income, so you were looking at finding a new solution to that problem. That solution is about to become a reality for you as you move forward. Because of the work that you're doing in the present, you're going to reap the rewards of that work, and you're going to find that the solution you're creating is going to appear. Whether that appears as a government job or some other kind of solution is not, the tarot is not saying, but it is going to be there for you, and it's going to come with it a lot of positive experiences, a lot of positive emotions, a sense of relief, sanguine, and yeah, joy and happiness and fulfillment, satiating. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining me. If you felt like you got some value from the spread, I'd encourage you to return that value in the form of a donation. It would be much appreciated. But yeah, I'm not here looking to get donations. I'm here to give of the value that I have. I know that as I give value out into the universe recognizes it and brings it back to me. So yeah, entirely optional. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, I'd also encourage you to like and subscribe, and you can also do the same on my other platforms if you feel inclined to do so. Next in my queue is Uzma on YouTube. Want to know my husband's current thoughts of me? I'm also Scorpio. We're both Scorpio. Okay, cool. Uzma, if you are still here, please let me know. Please confirm. You are up next for a reading. Waiting for confirmation from Uzma. Okay, moving on. Rabia Z on YouTube. I haven't been in contact with a friend. Is he okay? Will I get in contact with him? Rabia Z, please confirm if you are in the chat because your reading is up next. Monica says thank you so much. You are most welcome, Monica. Thank you for being here to support the stream with your view, and thank you for your patience waiting for your reading. And the same to you. May God bless. Wishing you much wealth and prosperity. Waiting for confirmation from Rabia Z. Amazing, Rabia Z is here. Okay, so letting you guys know I've got enough space for 2 more readings. So we've got Rabia Z, and then we've got Jano. After Jano was Deep Tea. So Jano, if you're still here, please confirm so that I know if Deep Tea is getting a reading today or not. And then for anyone else viewing the stream, if you would like to ensure that you get a reading before I close the stream, once I've finished giving away all my free readings, you can do so by sending a $2 donation. If you'd like to have the next reading, if you'd like to grab the next reading for yourself, that's a $5 donation. Jano is here. Awesome. So Deep Tea. Sorry, my friend. help Rabia understand why her friend is isolating, and let us know if he is doing okay. Welcome to the stream, Lorna Quinn. I have 2 readings to give away still. My time is up, so if you would like to get a reading today still, I would encourage you to send a $2 donation. That will ensure that you get an overtime reading even after the 2 hours have expired. Otherwise, you'll have to either schedule a private reading with me by reaching out to me in a direct message, or you can join me again on Friday for the same time. Blessings of love and light to you as well, Deep Tea. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm sorry that you were unable to get your reading. Hopefully we'll see you join a little bit earlier on Friday. So, Rabia, your first cup is a 3. Your first card is the 3 of Cups. This is a past interval. So 3 is about nourishment and awareness, the awareness itself being nourishment, and Cups is to do with emotions. So yeah, what this card is saying to me is that he has recently become aware of his own emotional state of being. Being aware of how the relationship he has with you, even if it's just a friendship, how much that fulfills him in his emotions. How much joy and appreciation he has for that relationship. He wants to build on the relationship. He wants to see it grow, and so this awareness of how much he appreciates it, this awareness of who he needs to become in order to make sure that this relationship stays strong, the changes he needs to make in himself, being aware of the places where he's been giving you more than you've been giving him in emotional abundance, and vice versa, where he's been receiving more than he's giving. He's becoming aware of all of these things so that he can nourish the relationship better as he goes forward. In the present, I see a 5 of Swords reversed. So in this present moment, he is working towards his own purpose. So part of this nourishment process for the relationship is him really stepping into his own purpose and stepping into his own power regarding what he wants to create with his life and for himself. So he's looking at his resources and his knowledge and his experience and seeing how he can apply that to its maximum potential. But what this card is saying to me is that the purpose that he's reaching for, that he wants to apply his resources to manifest for himself, is a little bit outside of his reach. Based on his current knowledge, based on his current experiences, and based on the current resources he has at his disposal, that being financial resources and technology, the purpose he's setting for himself is a little bit outside of what that can carry him towards. He has not yet become aware of that. He is busy applying his resources, and it's every step of the way he's being faced with disappointment, because every time he tries to reach for his goals, he's realizing the limitations of his technology and his resources and his knowledge. He's realizing that he's overreaching, and it's every time that he tries to step into the purpose, then he's met with all these limitations because he's overreaching. If his goal was within the reach of his knowledge and experiences, he wouldn't be faced with all of this constant disappointment. But he is being faced with this constant disappointment, so that is the reason that he's isolating, is because he's dealing with all of this. He's trying to reach for his purpose, and then being faced with resistances and disappointments every time he reaches out because of the limitations in his knowledge and his technology and his finances. Future interval is the 8 of Swords reversed. So what's opening up for him as a result of the disappointments he's experiencing in the present, as he's moving forward into the future, what the next couple of weeks and months look like for him is adjustments. He is going to be making some adjustments to what he's reaching for, to what purpose he's setting for himself. He will also be acknowledging the changes he needs to make in himself, who he needs to become in order to see his purpose realized, and then making those changes to lifestyle and habits, cutting out things that are not serving him, and that process for him is going to be a challenge. So it is important that he has some kind of support as he goes into that, because like the card is saying, it's going to be a challenge and a difficult experience for him, and his instinctive response is going to be to isolate out of shame, because the habits and lifestyle that he's letting go of and the things that don't serve him are things that bring shame to him, so he's going to want to hide that away. But it's very important that he gets encouragement and support as he goes through this, because without it there's a chance that he does not make the shifts, that he goes back to old ways and abandons the purpose he's trying to create, saying, hey, I'm not good enough to become the person that I need to be in order to see that purpose become manifested in my present. So reaching out to him is important. Reaching out to him and showing him that you're there to support him and encouraging him is important. So you said you have not been in contact with him. If you've been waiting for him to contact you, stop waiting and start reaching out. If you know his mom or his girlfriend or whatever, if you know someone who's close to him, reach out to them and ask them how he's doing, and just express to that person the support. Don't put pressure on him to contact you. Just send him all of your support, send him all of your encouragement, send him all of your positive energy. Whether you're sending that to him spiritually or sending that to someone who is close to him who can relay the message, do so. But don't put pressure on him to contact you. And that concludes the reading. Thank you very much. Yeah, please, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And if you're by the means, don't hesitate to send a donation of your choosing. Thank you so much. So welcome to the chat, Dan on YouTube, and welcome to the chat, Captain Roz. You guys have caught me at the end of the stream. I am about to give away my last free reading for the day. So if you would like to still get a reading today, you can either send a $2 donation to secure yourself a reading before I close the stream, or you can reach out to me privately to schedule a private reading. Your third option is to wait until Friday, the same time. So I'm online for 2 hours. I'm at the end of the 2 hours. If you have a look at the time now, 2 hours ago is when I started, and I do that on a Monday, a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Sunday. Same time. Alright, Jay No, you're up next for the last free reading of the day. Question was, will Elise like to stay in touch on the phone? I care about her and don't want to lose contact. Is it a good idea for J-No to make efforts to stay in touch with Elise despite the distances. Okay, so past interval is number 13 of the trumps. It is called death. It is reversed. And the death card talks about an injury of some kind, injury that creates rebirth in one's lifestyle. The entire old way of living being culled away and destroyed, and an entire new way of living having to be born and integrated with. And this kind of rebirth comes about through some kind of injury, and that injury can look like a breakup. It can look like the loss of a loved one. It can look like a physical injury, like actually getting hurt. It can look like a near-death experience, or it can look like moving from one location to another. So I feel like that one, the last one, the moving from one location to another, is what we're seeing here with this death card. In addition to that, also breakup, the loss of a relationship, or multiple relationships, even if that's not romantic relationships, losing friendships because of moving from one location to another. Uzma, you did most certainly miss your turn. But anyway, that the moving and the loss of those relationships, it destroys an old way of life, but it also, as all new beginnings are disguised as painful endings. When the death card shows up, it's never a negative. It's something that was going to happen. It's something that was necessary. And the lifestyle that develops as a result is always a positive change. There's always positive growth and positive change that comes with that rebirth. Even if the rebirth itself is painful, there's always positive growth that comes out of it. Present interval is the Three of Cups reversed. And 3 is about awareness, light, wisdom, understanding, becoming self-aware, having your own state of being illuminated by understanding and knowledge. And cups is to do with emotions. The card is reversed, so this is indicating becoming aware of difficult emotions and how one is interacting with those feelings. So in the present, she's feeling difficult emotions, difficult experiences, and she's becoming aware of those experiences, and she's becoming aware of how she's interacting with it and how it's impacting her environment. And this is the case for you as well. The same thing is happening for you. This card is answering me with yes. It would be very useful for you to stay in touch with her on the phone, to reach out to her, send her the occasional encouraging messages, letting her know you're thinking of her, sharing what you're doing in your day so that she doesn't feel so alone in this new environment wherever she is. When we experience these negative emotions, we have options. We can either react to it. Negative emotions always tell us to do something. Like if it's depression, it'll tell us to self-isolate and push people away. If it's fear, it'll tell the same thing. Push people away, run away, guard your heart. If it's resentment, it'll say speak spitefully, do something nasty. If it's shame, there's always something that a negative emotion encourages us to do. And to act within that, to act and do what that negative emotion is telling us to do, is always detrimental to our relationships and our environments. And the purpose that we're trying to manifest for ourselves. If we have a dream and we're working on it and the negative emotions come up and we listen to that, it takes us further away from what we're manifesting. The other option is to allow yourself to experience the emotion, acknowledge it, acknowledge what it's telling you to do, and then say, hey, I'm going to do this instead, regardless of it. I'm going to take this negative emotion and I'm going to do something creative with it. I'm going to let it express itself in something creative, something that's productive towards my manifestations rather than something that's detrimental to my manifestations. So the Three of Cups reversed is talking about how you both are becoming aware of these conflicting pulls, where the emotion is saying do one thing that's self-sabotage, and your intuition saying do this creative thing that is constructive. It's becoming aware of that push and pull between the emotion, the emotional impulse, and the creative impulse. Learning, realizing, taking notice of how you end up separating yourself from purpose and how you do damage to relationships by listening to negative emotions, and acknowledging and becoming aware of how creativity expands on your dreams and your relationships and is constructive towards those ends. Future interval is number 14 of the trumps, and it's reversed. This card is about co-creation. It's about creating. It's about, like, the way you can imagine it is two pillars that lean against each other, that support one another. Now the card is reversed, so it's implying that both of you are going to have to learn how to do this at a distance. That it's something you're going to have to learn how to do. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be difficult emotions that come up with it, because there's all this space between you and you can't actually sit down and have a conversation, and miscommunications come through. And you'll also discover that people are different when you communicate with them online. There's a different persona that they express in person, and another person that you see when it comes to digital communications. And so learning to integrate with those new people that you guys are, and learning to work together despite it, learning to support one another emotionally and physically. If I had seen a princess, because the princess corresponds with number 14, if I'd seen a princess of cups, it would have been emotional support structure. If I'd seen a princess of discs, it would have been physical support structure. But it is number 14 of the trump, so that means emotional, spiritual, physical, and every kind of support. And that's both of you supporting one another and building strength together through your relationship. And that's what's opening up. It's the potential for that. It's the process of learning how to do that. The card is reversed, which indicates that it's going to be a struggle and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a whole new learning curve, learning to integrate with the new person that you're interacting with the alter ego, the digital alter ego of yourself and of her and of Elise. Just something to be aware of. Don't let it discourage you. Don't let it create distance between you. Push through, because you're both learning to integrate. You're both learning how you can continue to be support structures and how you can continue to be strong despite distances. And that concludes your reading. So I'd like to say a big thank you to you for your patience in waiting to receive the last reading of the day. And yeah, I am seeing a $2 donation from Luna Quinn. So Luna Quinn, you have secured yourself a spot for a reading. Chandrai, I never got to your reading because my queue is closed, my time is up. I just received a $2 donation from Luna Quinn, so Luna Quinn is getting an overtime reading. And thank you so much, Jano. Thank you for your like and your subscription. Much appreciation and thanks to you. Wishing you immeasurable wealth and abundance. Thank you for joining us. Awesome. So Lorna Quinn, thank you very much for your donation and thank you for your patience. Let me know what your question is so that I can answer it for you. I am making a hard business decision. I don't believe in the company that wants me to represent them, but I can also use the money. Okay. I don't understand why it's so hard for you to understand what's going on, Chandrai. If you want a reading today still, you're going to have to send a donation. Otherwise, there's not going to be a reading for you. Luna Quinn is only getting a reading because she has sent a donation. So Luna, what I'm going to ask the tarot here is to provide clarification on what is the best course of action for you. Based on your past experiences, based on your current environment and circumstances, and a little bit of advice, a little key that will unlock the future you are creating for yourself. Grant Lona clarity regarding this challenging business decision and what is the best course of action for her. Past interval, present interval, and future interval. Before I turn over this card, I want to let everybody know who is viewing the stream that the stream is technically closed. The queue is closed. We are in overtime and I am giving away readings to those who have sent donations. So if you would like to get an overtime reading, send a donation please. $2. $2 donation will get you into the overtime queue. So Lorna, your past interval card is the Two of Cups reversed. And so 2 talks about potential and opportunities, the presentation of opportunities and potential for abundance appearing in your life. Cups is all about emotions. So this 2 of Cups is saying that in 2021 and in this opening week of 2022, things that have already happened, the opportunity for emotional security and emotional abundance has presented itself to you. And in order to claim it for yourself, you will need to be consistent and enduring, working towards that. It's all about self-love, actually. This opportunity for emotional abundance and emotional security comes from self-love and filling your own cup and focusing on what you're creating for yourself, focusing on your own self-care routines, prioritizing yourself, and then staying consistent with that, staying consistent in your self-love and your self-care. So the card is reversed. It indicates that you may have reached for that opportunity, you reached for that potential, but you did not stay consistent with it, or you haven't been consistent with it, and so that window of opportunity is passing by. Potential, the Two of Cups, the 2 in general, the number 2, it's like planting a seed. That potential is like a seed. A seed houses all the potential for life within it, but it's not actually doing anything until it's planted. So when you reach out to grab a hold of that opportunity and that potential, it's like planting that seed. And then that seed, you know what it is. If it's a fruit tree, you know that it's a fruit tree, but it's all of that potential lives inside that tiny little seed, and you're not going to get any fruit from that seed. You're only going to get fruit from the tree when it's fully grown. And so you know that when you plant it, it will become a fruit tree, and you trust in that outcome, but you have to consistently water and nourish the plant if you ever want to see it grow into a full tree. If you neglect the plant, it will wither away and die. So the potential that we see with the number 2, the frequency of potential, it's very much like the seed. It's presented to you, all of this potential, you know what it is, you know what its outcome will be, and you know that you'll have to be consistent, and you'll have to dedicate time and energy and invest all of yourself into it without receiving anything from it until it is a full-grown fruit tree that you can harvest from. So when it comes to cups specifically, it's about self-care, loving and acknowledging and appreciating yourself, recognizing and validating yourself, holding yourself accountable. All of those things will bring about emotional security and joy and abundance in your emotional being, but it requires consistency and dedication to your own self-care routines and your self-love practices. And the card is just saying to me that you are starting to neglect that process, and there's a risk of losing all of the potential that you've invested in so far. In the present, I have a 10 of discs for you. 10 of discs reversed. And what this card is saying to me is that it's a yes. It's a go ahead card. It's saying go ahead and claim this job offer, this business opportunity that you've got, because it's going to bring about a completion in in your financial universe. It's going to bring about completion in your financial security and physical security, your ability to make sure that you have all of your needs met. It will come through this. The card is reversed, and like you said, you don't necessarily agree with the company standards and the company vision, but you've been investing into yourself, into knowledge, you've been sending CVs or whatever you've been doing. You've been working on making this opportunity for financial security become a reality for you, and that is the reason why you've been neglecting the self-care routine, because you've been focusing all of your energy into making this financial security become a reality. And so this card is saying that this business opportunity you have now is how you receive the returns on all the efforts you've made towards your own financial and physical security. It may not be everything that you've hoped for, but it is a stepping stone towards getting where you want to be. So let's say that you've got this ideal vision. You want to have a certain lifestyle, you want to have a certain car to drive, you want to be married, or maybe not. You have this vision of where you're going to end up one day, what kind of career you're working in, and so you're taking steps to get there. You're manifesting it little by little. So here's the outcome, here's where you are, and this job opportunity that you're getting now is the platform in the middle. It's the stepping stone in between. To grab a hold of it will be you jumping from there to there, that much closer to your ultimate outcome. Trying to jump from here to your ultimate outcome is not going to happen. You're probably going to fall on your ass and get hurt. But jumping to that middle point, which is this job opportunity, even though it's not all that you've hoped for, even though it's not necessarily aligned with who you want to become, it is a stepping stone to becoming that person and having everything that that person wants. Future interval is the Princess of Wands. So this is the key that helps you unlock that ultimate outcome for yourself. So princess energy is about strength and creation, specifically co-creation, allowing your creative process to lift others up and inspire them and support them, and allowing their creative process to support yours and help yours grow, inspiring you. Wands is to do with desires and intentions. So again, your desire is that ultimate outcome, and leaping from where you are currently to this job offer that you have now is getting halfway to that outcome. Applying your creativity to your desires, finding creative solutions to overcome the challenges and blockages that are in the way. In this card, the princess is leaping forward with her wand, so she's saying, here I go. My intention is forward. I'm going to where I need to go, and I'm doing whatever I need to do and overcoming whatever obstacles are in front of me, engaging my creativity in order to do so, supporting others and allowing others to support me, because we help others to help ourselves, and we help ourselves to help others. And she is leaving the tiger of fear behind. When it's talking about a full cycle, so we go back all the way to zero. When you made your first effort towards your absolute outcome, when you took the first step, you were bitten by a tiger of fear, and it was the fear of uncertainty and the fear of failure. But you stepped forward anyway, regardless of that fear. And now, where you are now, your outcome is so much closer that you no longer have that fear of uncertainty, and you no longer have that that fear of failure. Okay, it's there, but as you step into this, as you make this first leap onto the first stepping stone from where you are to the halfway point, that will be you letting go of that uncertainty. As you step into this job offer and into the harvest of the efforts that you've been sowing and dedicating yourself to, that uncertainty dies. That fear of failure dies, because now your success and your outcome is a certainty. What you earn and what you create out of this job that you're taking now, it solidifies your ultimate outcome. It makes it a true possibility that can only be sabotaged by yourself. No longer will environmental variables will be able to destroy your dream. You alone will have that authority. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for your donation. And I hope that you will follow me, and I hope that you receive some value from this spread. I hope it gives you clarity, and I hope that I'll be seeing you again in future streams. The next time I will be doing this is from the same time, so I came online about 2 hours and 20 minutes ago. Same time on Friday, same time on Sunday. That's Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I am so glad that it helps you. I'm so glad that it resonates with you. Yes, I feel fulfilled when the readings I can give are full of value for those who are receiving them. So thank you very much. And peace upon you all. I'm going to just have one more look at my notifications to see if anyone else has sent a donation to secure themselves a reading. And that is a no. So peace and prosperity upon all of you guys. I will see you again on Friday. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you to everyone who joined, and everyone who liked, and everyone who subscribed and followed. Much appreciation and thanks.